Forget about apps, forget websites. Honestly, forget everything you think you know about placing a bet. We're about to dive into a concept that sounds like it was ripped straight out of a sci-fi movie, but it's getting closer to reality every single day.
And that quote, well, it says it all, doesn't it? We're talking about a world where the simple act of thinking is enough to put your money on the line. It is a thrilling idea. And let's be honest, it's also a little bit terrifying. So let's start with the basics. How would this even work?
Right, so before we even get to the betting part, we really have to get our heads around the foundational tech that could make all of this possible in the first place.
Now, this is not just some fantasy. I mean, this kind of technology is actually being developed right now for things like medicine and communication, helping people control prosthetic limbs or even communicate just by thinking. The core idea here is a direct, unfiltered pipeline from your brain straight to a machine. So, why is the gambling industry so incredibly interested in this? Well, if you look at history, they are always, and I mean always, looking for that next big thing. And a technology that promises to make betting faster, way more immersive, and, let's be real, more addictive, that's pretty much the holy grail.
Okay, for a second, let's just imagine the best case scenario here. If you're a player, what's the utopian promise? What makes betting with your mind so incredibly appealing? I want you to just picture this. You're watching a game, and you just think, I bet they score on this next play. And boom, the bet is placed. Instantly. You're not fumbling for your phone, no logging in, no scrolling through menus. It's just pure, unadulterated focus on the action. It's the very definition of a frictionless experience. But, there's always a but, right? With every utopian promise, there's a potential downside. So what happens when you remove all of that friction? What happens when you completely erase that natural pause we all take before making a decision? Just think about how it works right now. You have an idea, you have to open an app, you type something in, you have to confirm it. Every single one of those steps is a tiny little chance to second guess yourself. But in this future, the whole process is just, you think, it's done. The thought and the action, they become the exact same thing.
Let that sink in. In a neural link system, there's no "are you sure" button. The impulse to make the bet is the bet. That little moment of hesitation, that buffer we have between a thought and an action, it just completely vanishes, and that has enormous, enormous implications for responsible gambling.
And if erasing that pause for thought wasn't concerning enough, we have to talk about the data. Because if a device can read your thoughts to place a bet, what else can it read? This is where the ethical questions start to get really, really serious. So the first, most basic question is just this. When we're talking about neural data, the literal patterns of your brain, who actually owns it? Is it you, the company that made the device, the betting company? The lines get incredibly blurry, incredibly fast. And it gets so much deeper. Could this technology actually detect your emotional state? Could it know when you're feeling stressed out or impulsive? Or maybe when you're chasing a loss? The answer is almost certainly yes. Our brain patterns are directly tied to our emotions. Now, you could argue, hey, maybe this could be a good thing. A system could theoretically detect that you're on tilt and automatically lock you out, protecting you from yourself. That's the optimistic view. But what if the exact opposite happens? What if the system detects that vulnerability and uses that precise moment to push a notification for some high-risk, high-reward bet that you would normally just ignore? The potential for targeted emotional manipulation it's immense. And at the end of the day, this is what it all boils down to. Gambling has always walked a really fine line, right? But this technology threatens to just erase that line completely, creating this feedback loop between impulse and action that could be incredibly difficult to escape from. So the focus isn't really if this technology is going to show up. It's more a question of when. And, that leads us to the final and probably the most important question of all. Make no mistake about it. The industry will be prepared. You can bet they'll have the systems, the marketing, all the infrastructure ready to go the very second this technology is viable. Their entire business model depends on being ahead of the curve. And that is the thought I want to leave you with. Will we, as consumers, as a society, have the safeguards, the regulations, and just the personal awareness to handle a world where a simple stray thought could cost you everything? Will we be ready?